Hey, greetings, Fred in Alaska. We are in a very remote place where I'll say the Gulf of Alaska meets the Chugach Range. To say it's beautiful, well, here, let me show you. That's a glacier over there. I'm here by invite. Research group. You'll be meeting them later. I'm walking along the beach. It's approximately 7:20 a.m. I've been uneasy since we fucking got here, and there's reasons for it. This particular property, as in this whole area, it was logged 100 years ago. I'll show you guys evidence of that at a little bit later time here during the day. I have some interviews with these guys. This is my first foray into actual research. A lot of the other trips we attempted have been thwarted by weather, and here in Alaska you don't tempt fate playing with the weather. Walking along the beach here, it's just so beautiful here. Just unreal beauty all around. This here is basically the rainforest. You'll see more of that here in a little while. The guys are getting up, getting moving. Yeah, there's a lot of history around here. Just a little bit of a background. There's been several instances of high strangeness, whoops. We had a whoop just shortly after we had got here. One of the guys you guys will meet here in a little bit, he was the one that heard it. I heard it as well, but I didn't hear it as clearly as he did. He was on the deck. To be honest with you, I've been a little on edge since we got here. During the construction of this cabin, these things would scream and come closer, even with chainsaws running and whatnot. So they haven't had much exposure because this is a very, very remote place. A lot of people don't come out here. They may do kayaking and whatnot out here in the Gulf, but we are not that far from where Les Stroud had his incident here in Alaska, and we're getting ready to get out and do a little exploring, looking around. Like, again, this is a rainforest. It's just unreal beauty. I can't even. It's man. Fortunate is an understatement. This is just so. It's beautiful, but yet there's an eerie darkness in the forest. You'll see. Anyway, we'll catch up with you guys here in just a little bit. This is going to be part of the Alaska Hairy Man project, and that project is the actual research part, which I'm not a researcher. This is my first actual going out. I figured I'd go with some guys that have been researching, see what their techniques are, see what I can garner from that, and we'll see what happens. The hell it was.
Christine told me the A's, broken A's that we see all over. No, it's the X's.
The X's are do not come here.
Yeah, I know that.
No, you don't, Beans. Christine does.
You're right, Rod. I'm sorry.
You better be.
Here in the coastal rainforest, I just want to give you a look at all these new fungi growing on there. Beautifully white. You can see the Gulf of Alaska there. We got Beans and Rob over here. And we're out getting into the thick of it. Talk to these guys here in just a second. Catch up with you in just a moment. All right, we got Beans over there. Give a wave, Beans. That's the size of the tree. Now we come up the tree, and there's that big mass up in the branches. Just to give you perspective, it's about 3 to 4 times as large as Beans is. And Beans not a small guy.
I'm a big old man. I'm a big old boy.
He's a big old boy. Anyway, I just wanted him in frame just for a size reference on these old growth timbers in here. This place is huge. So we got Larry Beans Baxter. We got Rob Roy. All right, we'll get back to you here. Hey, could you expand on some of the phenomenon, the sounds and everything that has got you so intrigued about out here?
Sure. When I first met the owner, I was given some files to listen to, audio files, and you know, it sounded like the Sierra sounds. It sounded so similar. You know, you almost recognized it. At the same time, I couldn't believe it because, you know, I've never known anybody with a situation like this. So I was thrilled when he asked me out here. It was 3 years ago, and my very first visit out here. Now I was excited. Don't get me wrong, I was so excited, but I was skeptical too. You know, I had all these questions in my head. Are they here in sea lion? You know, but I know what I heard on the recordings. They sounded very good.
Right.
So when I came out here, of course, it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I mean, Bigfoot or no Bigfoot, it's just beautiful. The very first night I was out here, I heard my first 2 tree knocks.
Right.
And, you know, I've been into Bigfoot for a long time, drawing it, talking to eyewitnesses for decades, and you would think I would be ready for it. And I found out, that, I was not ready for that.
Right. Was it a jolt to the system or what?
It was kind of a jolt to the system, and it was instantly knowing something's there. It was intentional. And of course, there was only 4 of us here. The other 3 gentlemen are in the cabin. There was nobody out but me. 12:30 at night, I was on that point over there. And just as I thought, I should probably go to bed, I stayed up till 12:30. I didn't hear anything. Peaceful, quiet out here, 2.5 hours. I was tuned to everything. I could hear every little nuance, the water. And I thought, I should probably go to bed. I don't know, it was not even 30 seconds after I thought that. Just a enormous crack. And to me, it sounded like wood on wood. I mean, that's what it sounded like. And it was right in front of me. I didn't even have to move my head. I was looking at the forest that it came from. And I had the thermal in my hand. I had my nice Canon SLR on my neck. And it let go, crack. And I mean, it stunned me. It
Right.
was so loud, almost gunshot loud. Might have had to do with it's so quiet out, but it was obvious what it hurt. And then the second one, whack! That's when the fear came over me, and it's something I really didn't expect.
Right.
And-
What did the fear feel like? What would you explain
Well,
as its intensity?
Okay, so
or-
the two knocks, to me were intentional. They weren't a tree falling twice. It wasn't like something just dropped or fell. It was swung with a lot of power, and
Right.
it was not a little limb or it had to be big,
Right.
and it hit with such force. It was like dry wood on dry wood,
Right.
and crack.
Was it nice and crisp?
Yes, it was crisp. It was you know,
Okay.
the cracks you were making
Yeah.
up. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like that, but maybe twice as loud. You know?
Right.
I mean, maybe 3 times, but it was loud. And the second time you were talking to me about the fear, and I've kind of thought about it, and it's like I tell people it was like if you're on a vacation swimming in the water and you're 30 feet from the beach, and a shark fin comes up. It was that I looked over at the cabin, and you know it was dark out, you know, but the cabin. The creepy trail up to the,
Right.
to the left.
Yeah.
I just, in my imagination, I just did not want to see a hulking figure standing there because I'd be screwed.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
So I just started. I didn't raise the thermal. I didn't even think about it. After that
Right.
second
Even with
crack,
the devices like right at hand,
right,
it just
in my hand.
not
It was
even a
running,
thought.
ready to roll.
it was self-preservation.
I didn't even think about it. I didn't run, but I walked as fast as I could up to the cabin, and I didn't hear Scott. Scott had. See, there it goes. Cut. Can you cut that? So as I was walking very fast, the owner came out on the deck, and he, you know, I was swearing. I was so excited.
Right.
I didn't know if he heard it or what, but as I was walking up the stairs, you know, he's like, "That's Bush League. That's Bush League," and I was so freaking excited. I couldn't believe I just heard that. And we stood out there on his deck for a good 20 minutes afterwards, I'd say, and nothing. It was just quiet.
Yeah.
And we just thought about it. Neither one of us even thought about lifting the thermal up. I guess we're just too excited.
Right.
I mean, me, you know, I've never heard it, so I'm freaking out. I mean, you
Yeah.
figure all the decades I've been drawn and listening to eyewitnesses. Here's my moment, and I just went
Right. How long
tail
would you?
between the legs.
How long do you think it was before that fin, you know, shark fin in the water fear
Oh, the
left you?
second whack. After
Yeah. No.
that, it
How long
was-
did it last? Like, do you remember, or is this
You
something
mean
that
how long did the
curiosity?
fear last?
Yeah.
Up until I got to the first stair.
Oh, okay.
Then I was safe.
Right.
It was
Right.
like stepping on the beach.
Right,
You're
right.
having the sharks swimming around out there. You
Right.
don't care
Home
now.
base. I'm
But I
safe.
went up. Yeah, it was a true. I can't explain it. It was a true fear. It was like
Right.
it was just so unusual, and it was intentional. You could. It was totally intentional. Whether it was a hey, we got one out here. You know, they're saying, oh, hey,
Right.
John, look over here. You know,
Right.
It was intentional. It was with purpose, and that freaked me out.
Right.
You know, because I don't know what they're gonna do.
Right.
And
And it's only you out there, so I mean.
I wasn't armed. All I had was the thermal and
Right.
the camera. And so, you know, you can imagine. I looked over and I just had to get to safety.
Right.
It was just unusual. And you know, that was the beginning of my my adventures out
Right.
here. So
But it's just been
addiction.
other things, just knocks up hilltops and whatnot, that type
we,
of thing.
we were hearing, you know, that was a biggie for my first time. I was only out here for 2.5 days that visit, so we were hearing random noises. But again, like, you know, you've experienced it. People are talking,
Right.
And somebody
Then
says,
every-
"Hey, aren't you hear that?" And I can't, you know, I'm
Right.
talking or somebody moving around. But we were all hearing weird stuff, mostly tree knocks. Once in a while, whoop.
Right.
So it wasn't until my second visit out here, I heard my first whoop. Like
Right.
a clear, it sounded almost, it was just whoop, just like that.
Right.
And it was about, not quite that loud, but another gentleman and I were walking down this trail here when it happened, bright middle of the day, and we could hear it over our conversation, you know,
Oh,
which
right.
is kind of, you know how it is. You kind
Yeah.
of, kind of hears it and you can't hear it. No, we both heard it. We both
Right.
stopped
Well,
and
with all
looked at
this
each other.
moss, when we're talking back and forth, if someone turns their head from the conversation just slightest bit, if you overhear, you may not hear it.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just so
And the
sound
call
deadening.
is, you know, the sound travels weird. Like you said, there's moss everywhere. But yeah, the second trip I came out here, heard the whoop. The owner, about 9 in the morning, went up to use the outhouse up here, and something growled at him. And there were 7 of us that trip. 6 of us were on the deck, just waking up, coffee. Scott, we hear, something growled at me. And we're like, huh? What did I say?
Appropriate place to be on
So
a
the younger
toilet
guys
when it
were like,
happens.
was it a bear? And Scott was like, no, it ain't no fucking bear. It came from the And I'm like, was it a sea lion? You know, we're just throwing things out there. I don't know. But no, he says it wasn't. Okay. And about an hour later, I go up to use the bathroom. And that's when I looked down. And we had just moved the toilet over. So we dug out a fresh new hole. We buried the old hole. So there was some fresh dirt laying there. How convenient, you know?
Right.
So I'm doing my business and I look down and there's a footprint.
Right.
You know, about 15 and a half, 16 inches long, about 8 inches wide. Huge toe. I remember the big toe was freakishly big.
Right.
And I looked at it and I was very calm. Well, like I said, I thought to myself, this could be, I guess it could be like 3 guys stepped in the same spot. You know, I was trying to rationalize it.
Yeah.
But you couldn't ignore it was a footprint. So I very calmly walked down, asked the boys, where's Scott? He's in the shed. So I walked over to the shed. Hey, Scotty, I said, I think I found a print. His eyes kind of got big. Where? Up by the bathroom. So we go up there and sure enough, you know, and once he saw it and he started getting excited, calling it a wood ape, you know, I was like, whew, the relief.
Right.
Because now I know, now I can get excited.
Right,
you know? I'm like, okay, that's So we ended up, we had one little thing of plaster and we made it happen. And that was an experience.
That's one of the ones you got displayed at your museum,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 2 of the prints we pulled out of here. One was the first one the owner did with spray insulation.
Right.
It looks rough, you know, kind of looks like a blob, but you can clearly see the heel. The shape of it's pretty good.
Right.
And he said this was the best print out of all of them. And I think he said there must have been at least 8 prints.
Right.
Walking through the
Oh,
mud
okay.
back
So a
there.
trackway, basically.
Yeah, trackway. So so both of those are in my gallery, and I made a little case for the one. But what else did I go through here? Trying to think now. That trip we did anything else? That the whoop, and then the third time I came out here, it was relative. We heard some noises, but nothing as epic as that. Fast forward to the second year is the time we used the peanut butter. And that's the first time we've ever put a peanut butter jar on that stump up there. And that stump is right next to the outhouse. So the outhouse is kind of, you know, it's obvious they don't like it. You know, they've thrown the outhouse around. They've torn the toilet seat. You know, it's just, they don't like it. Well, you know, so going up there, it was something. I still look at that track and you can see dermal ridges. You can see the texture on his foot. You can see the metatarsal. It's not like a flat.
Right.
It's just pretty neat. So the peanut butter jar, we came out here 2 weeks after we put it on the stump. We came back out here. We go hiking up there with our headlamps. It was nighttime. And sure enough, peanut butter jar was gone. And we had opened, it's a brand new big thing of Jif. We opened the lid up, we peeled the film off, and we screwed it on about 4 times. So it wasn't tight, but it wouldn't come off. And it was gone. So we're like, what the heck? And I'm looking around and I see it. It was all the way down, way on the other side of the stump, upside down, and the lid was gone. And so I'm like, oh, here it is. And I pick it up, and all 3 of us shoot our headlamps in it. And there was only this much peanut butter left. Okay, you know, there was little mouse bite marks. There's mouse turds in it. But what we all thought was strange is there's a gigantic leaf just smashed into the peanut butter. And it's not something, if it just, you know, a little squirrel got into the peanut butter and knocked it off. There's no way a leaf.
It was pressed into
there,
it.
like, and we all thought it. At the same time, we all kind of looked, and do you think they were using a leaf to scoop it?
You never know.
But that's what we all thought. Anyway, since then, we've tried. I want to say there was also a necklace, a woman's necklace up there, big orange red beads. And I noticed that first. There were beads all over the base of the stump. I didn't
Was
know
it
what
like
'cause I
antique
didn't
jewelry
know.
or something?
Yeah,
Those kind of
they
beads?
put the necklace up with the peanut butter.
Oh,
I didn't know
I
it was
see.
up there. So, but I saw the beads everywhere, and then I found the peanut butter, and then they saw us a necklace, and I said, "Well, look at all the beads." You know, and
Right.
I guess you could say, "Well, it's birds or something," but it was odd. So Kelly and I decided to go up to the fire pit. We left another woman's mirror up there, and this little string and a couple little things. We went up there, and the mirror was gone. And so about 15 feet away, there's the mirror, just laying in the bushes. So it's things like that. It's not every day.
Right.
It's like
it's
I
an
come out here for-
accumulation of
yes,
things.
I come out
and-
here for
yeah.
3 days or 4 days, and two things might happen, but they're pretty epic.
Right. Right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing with us, Rob. And
Absolutely.
we'll catch you again soon.
Right on.